Hi, and welcome to another edition of Dealing with Brightspace. Today what we're going to be doing is looking at one of my favorite topics, which is grading rubrics. Now, grading rubrics are a good idea whether you're teaching online or using Brightspace or technology, because they do a few things. For one, they guide students on what you're looking for. It answers that ever asked question, what is my teacher looking for? Right there on the grading rubric, that's what I'm looking for. So it manages the behavior or the output of your students. At the same time, it also manages your behavior as a teacher by giving you a tool by which it disciplines you in regard to grading. So you can kind of use it as a way to be more objective in the way that you grade. So for the purpose of this set of videos, though, I want to show how we build grading rubrics into Brightspace and attach them to assignments in this particular case. And as I've been talking about in this video series so far, I think it's very useful to actually do these ahead of time. You can do them at any time, but you can actually go in to where the rubrics are kept and you can build all your rubrics right from there. And that's what I'm going to be showing you. So let's take a look at Brightspace. Here we are. Instead of using my sandbox, I'm actually going to use, this is a class I am preparing at this moment, Sensation and Perception. This is the master template for it, and I've just begun this process. And so I've done a few rubrics, and I'm going to show you how that happens. So when you're ready to add some rubrics to your course, what you want to do is go over to Course Admin. Here you access a lot of tools in that link. And depending on how you have it set up, I have this, I have course administration tools set up by category. They might just be my name, and there's everything, or by category. Doesn't really matter. Well, what you're looking for is rubrics, right down here. And you will see that this interface is similar to the assignments and the quizzes and the discussions. It's just, you're in that section and it lists all of them for the class. So you're going to list all of your rubrics. So what you'll see here is 3 rubrics that I've already created. One is my standard discussion rubric, and then there are 2 assignments so far in Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 that I've created rubrics for. Now, obviously, the thing to do when you want to create a new rubric is hit the big blue button that says New Rubric. So when you hit that, it brings you to an interface that is the rubric. This is where you're going to put all of that information. I want to point out some options here before I actually show you one of the rubrics that I've created. Obviously, you have a title, and I've been titling mine the same as the assignment itself, and with a Chapter 3 assignment or something like that. And then you have the levels of achievement going across the top, and you have the different criteria going down the side. Now, the way this is oriented, you see the highest points are on the left and the lowest points are on the right. Now, call me old school, but I like the highest points to be over to the right. So you can actually reverse the order level and kick that in there. And now the low points are here and the high points are here. And it really, really doesn't matter. This is very, very optional. The way the standard rubric comes up is it has point values for the levels. You'll see these right here. Now, I've never had the occasion to have multiple criteria that all apply to one level, and that's how I would score it. I want to have different point values for each one of these. So I go to this, scoring points, and I want to say custom points, and watch what happens. It takes away the level points and puts a point value in every square. So I think right now we're looking at something. This is very familiar. This is for anybody who's looked at a rubric. This is starting to look very familiar. You have your high scores, the criteria for that, and you have a little space to put each piece of information in the middle, and all the way down to maybe no submission. or something like that. And so when we look at this, what this provides us automatically 4 levels. We can add levels, or if we hit the little trash can, we take them away. So in my case, I like going with 3 levels, and I have 3 standard levels that I usually use, and that this is unacceptable or no submission. Level 2 is needs improvement, and level 3 meets expectations. So those just happen to be the levels that I use. I just use those consistently so that every rubric that I create has that same sort of model so people know what to expect from it. You can certainly have your own levels that are there. At this point, the criterion that we put in here all depends on the specific assignment. If it's a paper, there might be a title page and references or introductions and stuff like that, different things that you'll have in there. And it allows you to type in a little description about what would meet expectations look like, what would needs improvement look like, and what would unacceptable and no submission look like. You then modify these points here. The maximum level translates to this number over here, and these are all added up to the total right here. Now down here, this is something that's new to me, but this is an overall score, kind of summarizes everything that's up here, and I have not been using this particular tool. What I've ended up doing, as I'll show in my example, is I've eliminated 2 of these, and I just created overall pass and overall fail grades. This part of the rubric system is really not as important to me as the other pieces. So let's take a look at an existing rubric. So I'm going to go back to course administration, go back to rubrics. See it already. I'm going to delete that one that I just created. These save automatically, by the way. As you're writing them, they update and save, so don't look for the save button. But let's look at my Chapter 2 assignments. Pretty typical here. I go into the Edit view, and what we'll see here is my Chapter 2 assignment. I have the unacceptable or no submission, needs improvement, meets expectations. And you see this, for this particular assignment where I'm having them look at methodology in research and sensation and perception, I have a title page and then a little description of what that looks like, the summary of the methodology, the results that they do, and then a reflection on the process, and then mechanics. And my total points, I work on a 0 to 100 scale because I do weighting in my final grade, so everything has to be on that 0 to 100 scale. So I have 10% for the title page, 20% for the summary of methodology, 30% for the results, another 30% for the reflection, and 10% for mechanics. And down here on the bottom, you'll see my levels here. Actually, this should be 73. So I got to fix that during this. So 0 to 72 would be, I would call that fail and pass. And I don't really know, to tell you the truth, what that's going to do. It doesn't matter. I just want the top part anyway. So sometimes you just need to fill in the boxes. So here I have these. Now, another ability that we have is, because I use a lot of standard language like title page and the mechanics part, the 2 bookends in each one of my grading rubrics, kind of don't want to type those out again. So what I can do is I can actually create a copy of an existing existing rubric and then edit the pieces that are different. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that here. My course has an assignment in Chapter 5. So I'm going to make a copy of my Chapter 2 assignment rubric, and then I'm going to edit that. This should save me some time because all this stuff is kind of already in there. I'm going to change this to Chapter 5. So now this is my Chapter 5 assignment, and I have my my course book here. This is my Chapter 5 assignment. It's in my Object Perception chapter. And what we're going to be doing, what I'm having them do here is to get a picture. And these are general perceptual shapes that we call geons that we experience in the world. Take the class to learn about it. It's a great topic about how we actually identify objects by seeing these basic shapes in them. It's very, very cool stuff. This is the rubric as I present it to my students. And so you see the first part is title page, that's fine. The next part is image of Gestalt organization, so I need to go change the second one to that. And then and you'll notice that I need another category here. I need another criteria because this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The other one had only 5. So I add a criterion here. I'm going to put it right on the bottom, and I can put explanation. And then I can take that piece of the rubric and just drag it up so it's in the right place. Now I want to copy each one of these descriptions. It's nice, of course, to have these already created. So I'm just copying what the what my criteria are for each one of these. Now I want to edit each one of the in-betweens. Okay, now I'm going to make sure I got my points right. So it's 10, 20, 20, 20, 20, 10. So this is 20, 20, 20, 20, halfway points here. That's how I do it. And I can see that the total is 100. This remains the same. And now I've updated this particular rubric is now my Chapter 5 assignment rubric. And I can simply close it. And there it is in my list. So that's how we both create a rubric from scratch, but then we can go in and use an existing rubric in order to create one that's a lot like it. We don't have to create the wheel every time. You can also export, just like you can export any element of your material that is in Brightspace. You can export your rubrics and import them in to your course, another course, and that's through the course copy mechanism. which I can discuss later. So I hope that that has been helpful to help you know how to use rubrics. And when you go and make your assignments, there will be a little button that says rubric, and you click on those and they will appear on the list. Let me point out something as I'm just remembering this before I sign off. We'll look over here. You'll see that the assignment, the chapter 5 is still in draft. So is chapter 3. These will not appear in that list. I just noticed that. So you just go here, set status to published, set status to published, and now all of my rubrics are published. And now they will all appear in that list when you go to select a rubric. So have a great day.